James Cromwell, Dennis, of course, Academy nominated actor, and former Congressman Denis Kucinich. And here we are. We're going to talk about they're fighting frack gas up in New York State. Hello, welcome to the show, both of you.
Thanks.
So James, can you go ahead and tell me about what's going on? You even got arrested, and so tell us what the problem is happening in New York State with frack gas.
So we have a ban. Well, it isn't actually a ban. It's a moratorium, and that was a moratorium for drilling for frack gas in New York. However, we have an infrastructure, a growing infrastructure of not only pipelines and compressor stations, but in my particular community, which is Wayanda, there is a big power plant, a 650 megawatt power plant that produces 20 million tons of CO2 a year, which is about 60% of all the CO2 emitted in New York State per year. And it's going to have a deleterious effect on the local community, on our water, on our air, on the people who live. There's an environmental justice community not, maybe 100 yards from where this plant is. It has two 275-foot smokestacks that spit out this ultrafine particulate matter, which gets into people's lungs and into their blood supply. It causes rashes. It causes bleeding noses in children. There's a link to autism. And this is on top of not only the CO2, but the methane released, which is a much more dangerous greenhouse gas by order of magnitude. And this plant will have a 40-year lifespan. And in order to supply gas to this one plant, over 1,500 wells will have to be drilled in Pennsylvania to supply the gas. In other words, this is only one plant of over 300 that have been planned. So a group of us, a very small, committed group of local people, a grassroots opposition to this plant, did everything that we knew how to do. We picketed, we went to the governor's office, we wrote letters, we did everything, talked to our senators, our representatives. Nobody paid a slightest bit of attention, which is an interesting story in and of itself. And finally, there was nothing else to do but do an act of civil disobedience, which was to chain ourselves together, to block the entrance to the plant, to be arrested, hopefully with the idea that the trial, we would be able to use what is called the necessity defense, that there is a greater necessity in fighting a larger evil than the damage done by the statute that you break. And you have to prove that there is an imminent threat, which if you see what is happening in Phoenix with planes not being able to take off because it's 130 degrees, and reports coming in from Africa that there's going to be a larger migration of refugees than there has ever been in the history of the world. And it is coming very quickly as people have to leave their communities because there is no water and the soil will not grow. The plants burn. So we did this not only for the people of my community, of the larger community of Orange County, of the people of New York, but also for the people of the world.
So what was the response you got from Governor Cuomo?
You should ask.
I asked. I knew it would be funny. That's why I asked.
Okay. So I'll tell you my opinion. My opinion is that there was a large movement in New York to get a ban on fracking. And they obviously at some point went to, the organizers went to Governor Cuomo and said, we want a ban. And he said, well, what do you give me? What do I get out of it? And they said, what do you want? He said, well, I want to close down Indian Point nuclear facility because it's old and incredibly dangerous, and for many other reasons. And so I need to tell the business community that there will be the power available to develop industry in whatever community. And there is one going up. It happens to be called CPV, and I want CPV. They said, fine, you give us a ban. He said, no, I'll give you a moratorium. It has no standing in law. In other words, it can be rescinded at any moment. And so the quid pro quo was The environmental movement got a moratorium on fracking. He got a 650 megawatt power plant. The gas company got at least 1,500 new wells having to be drilled over the 40-year lifespan of this power plant. And we, as the civilian population, got screwed.
How can people help you?
We need to get the word out. We need financial support in order to continue this struggle. We need people to organize very quickly to oppose the build out of hydrofracking infrastructure in their own communities, to understand and to communicate to their fellow citizens that this is not a bridge fuel, this is a bridge to nowhere. This will kill us all.
So, Protect Orange County organization in New York has a website which you can go to and get more information, and also give your name as someone who cares about it. And I think, do they have something in there for contributions?
Yes, they do. ProtectOrangeCounty.com.
Okay, so ProtectOrangeCounty.com. We'll tell people to go there. And this, it's very...
It may be ProtectOrangeCounty.org.
Okay, so people will Google...
Make sure it's Orange County, New York, fighting the fracking.
Right, so people will Google that. They'll be able to find that. We'll put a link underneath this video to that website also. And before we have to go, we're out of time. Thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for putting your body on the line. Thanks for making a difference. Thanks for putting money where your mouth is and willing to go to prison for this. Hey, are you sick and tired of corporate Democrats? So are we. So why not become a member of the Young Turks and help us say no to corporate money? If you become a member, it helps support shows like the Aggressive Progressives who are pissed off at corporate Democrats. Go to tytnetwork.com/join. It's only $10 a month. It helps keep us independent and keep bringing you the truth.